you think this is starting to wear me? You've been raining down like hell. I'm weak. I have tried to give you my soul, but you can't love something you own. It's too late to repair what we made. What can I do? Time flashed by and I woke up on the other side of the moon.
G'day everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Anna and this is You Got Me in Stitches. Also, warm welcome to some new subscribers. Today, this is part 2 of the Lyra Dress, and yes, this is actually a dress and not something that I hacked into like last week into the denim jacket, which I kind of repurposed my son's TE, as for most of you that know him as TE. Yes, so some of his jeans from a few years ago I had kept, and yeah, when TE and I kind of went through the garage and sorted some bits and pieces out, I suddenly had a thought to use some of those jeans, and so I created that denim jacket. If some of you guys have not seen that, then that's just last week's video. Yeah, so if some of you guys are not familiar with the tilly and the buttons, the Lyra dress is this pattern here. And there's the line art. So as you can see there, it has these two tiers. It also has a front button placket, and the button placket is usable, if that makes sense. So it's not a faux placket, and it has a collar. So this is Tilly's little bit more, I guess, slightly more advanced patterns as opposed to some of her more simple patterns that she has created previously. Yeah, so there's a few techniques if you are ready to kind of leapfrog into practicing button plackets and or collars. This is a really good pattern, and also the instructions for Tilly buttons on pretty much all of her patterns are kind of beginner friendly, and yeah, a few exceptions with some of these patterns which have a little bit more details. So what I am going to do is just turn the camera around, kind of give a little bit of a review and thoughts, and show you guys some of the pattern, and also show you guys the dress and the fabrics that I used for that. Starting off with a closer look at the front cover of the Lyra pattern, and all the patterns from what I am aware are created in quite rigid card, and flip that over, and so you open up the top here and you would find all the contents inside, and you have a good layout on the back. So you have line art there, also an image of a real person wearing the dress, and then you have kind of a quick look at the sizing, and it comes both in centimeters and also inches. Fabric suggestions, yeah, so good information there on the back. Then Tilly creates her patterns on, again, quite rigid paper, so it's kind of really good if you are not somebody that trace it out, and therefore the strength of the paper is not kind of like tissuey, kind of flimsy paper. So again, it's rigid. I've just opened out a little part of one of the patterns so you can see how clear the ink is on the pattern there, and the information all pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. But again, for those of you that may be not so familiar with the patterns, it's just an idea so you can see what is inside. So yeah, you can see how thick the paper is there, so that's really good. As you can see here, I am team trace, and yeah, I do tend to make sure I definitely trace indie patterns because they are quite expensive, and also if you make any alterations you can do that to the paper that you have traced it out on, and then the original pattern will last a lifetime. And this paper that I use here is Swedish tracing paper, and it is also good for doing tissue fitting. So although I say tissue, it's not the kind of thin, easy to tear tissue paper. This is kind of more of a stronger, more structured paper. That said, although it's structured, it is still quite malleable to obviously go around the contours of your body, and you can also sew with it. So it's really good paper. Then we come on to Tilly's information instruction book, and I say book because it is exactly that. So you do not get kind of 1 or 2 sheets of regular paper. This is like a booklet, and it is filled with all the information that is required. And yeah, so on the first page here, it just gives a few examples of what interfacing is and what stay stitching is, seam allowance. Then also in here you have your size chart, and then we have about cutting your fabric, and also how to place the pitting on your fabric. So good clear layout here. So this one is for 45 inch, and then over the page it is for 60 inch. So yeah, a few variations. And then you start on the step-by-step instructions, and yeah, Tilly is renowned for kind of having very easy to follow step-by-step instructions. And yeah, for the most part you cannot ever go wrong, and you get colour photos which kind of correlate with the written instructions. So yeah, just kind of give you guys a little bit of a flick through. I won't go too much into detail, but as you can clearly see, it is very straightforward and explanatory, and I think the photographs are pretty good, and yeah, I'm happy with those, and I think for the most part most people are. And yeah, overall a lot of information all packed away neatly in this little booklet here, and then that is just the back cover there. Righto, so now the dress itself, and yeah, I decided to go for a colour blocked dress, and yeah, the whole colour blocked dress is in some multi different fabrics, all gingham, and yeah, quite a few happy colours going on, and I think overall it works together. So starting off, the colour, all this fabric is 100% cotton, so the colour of the green fabric there is from my fabric collection, but originally it was from Fabricland. And then the stand there, that is from Beyond the Pink Door, and there's quite a few actually in here. The rose colourway of one half the bodice is also Beyond the Pink Door, as is the purple there. So coming down the placket here, it has been interfaced both sides, and if I just come in a little bit, the snips that I used I also recently got from Fabricland. I'll link everybody below, so if anybody's interested they can go over. Then for the arms I decided to use 2 different colours. So the black one originally was from Fabricland, but I had it in my stash for a little while, and the red one is from Sew Gisli, as is the first tier here. And yeah, it's kind of a mushroom colourway, and yeah, come a little bit closer so you guys can see the gathers there. And yeah, I was very lucky, and when I did the gathering, thankfully the thread did not snap on me, so that was really good. But sometimes kind of doing quite a few gathers like that, you kind of just got to make sure that they are evenly kind of dispersed throughout, so there's not too much bumping or bunching even. And then coming down, the fabric here, the orange colourway, again that was from Beyond the Pink Door. And just come a little bit closer so you guys can see the gathering here as well. Now for the hem, I have serged the hem, at the moment I kind of have left it as is. I'm not entirely sure if I am going to do a double fold or maybe even use bias tape. I kind of do like the finish of double fold and or bias tape, but right now, to be fair, the look of the serging, I think that's okay, and it's not actually that noticeable. And I know I'm kind of like have the thought of, yeah, kind of have a clean finish, but to be fair, it's kind of a fun, happy, summery dress and nothing too formal. So as is at the moment, I kind of have just left it serged. Right, I have just lifted the collar up so you can see kind of the work of both the collar and the collar stand. And yeah, so the back piece, I just decided to use one entire bodice piece. I did initially kind of think of using two pieces. The reason I opted to just use the bodice as one piece is because I did not want a middle seam line down the back. So yeah, this is the only pattern piece that I did keep as is, and this you would lay on the fabric on the fold. And then the arm on this side, so this gingham was in my fabric collection but originally from Fabricland. In again, just showing you guys the gathers there so you can see on the back. I think I did okay, but really enjoyed creating the Lyra dress, and I am sure that there will be a few more. And I just kind of had this idea that I wanted a colour block dress. I've kind of been having colour blocking in my mind for a bunch of time now, and yeah, so I kind of write down my ideas that kind of go back quite a few years, and I thought that it's actually high time that I'd actually start creating a colour block garment. And yeah, so the inspiration initially for this Lyra dress, as I said before on the part 1 video, was seeing Liz from the Baker That Sews. She also did a Lyra dress in a colour blocked way, and it was beautiful. She did not use gingham, she used solid colours. It was equally as beautiful, and that was the reason I actually decided to go for the Lyra. Although I'd seen the Lyra for a little while, kind of just as it was, it kind of did not do too much for me. So after seeing Liz's versions, because obviously she's made more than one, I kind of thought, yeah, might be a good way to go. And then I suddenly decided about all my colour block ideas, and I thought, yeah, I'll go with it. So yeah, here we are. Just flipped it around to the front again, because also on the pattern it says that you could use elastic for the sleeves. So I made 3/4 sleeves, and yeah, did my casing, and yeah, inserted the elastic. The only thing is, it is just ever so slightly tight, so I may have to actually go in and just add a little bit of length, because stupid me, I measured my arm, but what I should have realised, I should have brought it up my arm a little bit further than what I did, because obviously you've got to allow for the amount of fabric that you use for the casing. So yeah, I was kind of about inch half out. So yeah, but there you go, live and learn. You kind of just have to go with it sometimes. So yeah, this is my Lyra. Also, it has bust darts, and although I did lower my bust darts, unfortunately they actually need to be lowered a little bit more, because they are still coming up a little bit high. I'm not entirely sure if you noticed that on the photos that I did. So yeah, T.E. and I, we went somewhere to kind of get some okay photos, kind of wanted a little bit of a change of a background, and it happened to be a wonderful sunny day as well. So yeah, just prancing about doing stupid pictures, but it's all part of the fun. But I think all the colours kind of work together, but let me know what you think. Also in the Lyra dress pattern, there are pockets, and yeah, I kind of played around with the fabric in there and used both the black and the orange there. So on this side I used blue. What actually happened, I made a slight error. There should be one blue on the other side and only one blue here, but you cannot see it, so it goes like that. But yeah, little fun pockets, which is always good. Alright, just till about the sizing. So for the bust area I created a size 4, and then I graded down to a size 3 in the waist area. And like I just said, with the darts, although I lowered them an inch, I'll actually have to go back in and lower them probably a further ½ inch. And also, because I am tall, I always, pretty much on every single pattern, no matter whether it's indie or just regular big 4, even though I think they're big 6 or 7 now, aren't they? And yeah, I usually have to add anything from 1½ to 2½ inches, and yeah, I added 2 inches. And yeah, I also then added a ½ inch kind of at the hem on the body pieces, just to kind of play safe. Part reason because although I do wear a belt, and you will see that in the stills, the belt is not actually attached, and it's just some random regular kind of belt that I had for a different garment many years ago. And yeah, it does make a difference when you have your waist cinched in by using a belt. And I kind of noticed, because it's obviously not attached, it kind of raises up, and obviously the fabric moves, so it kind of sometimes does look like it's sitting wrong on me, that you may see from some of the photos. Now I kind of decided, should I just go in and get the quick unpick out, unpick, and then kind of just amend the little extra that I added on to the hem. However, I've also maybe kind of 100%, well, almost 100% decided I might actually use that extra fabric to make a casing and actually go in and insert elastic, and then that way I do not have to wear a belt, and it's easier still to get on and off, and then not have to kind of worry about putting a belt on. But you could wear it without a belt, and you do not have to insert elastic, so that is something I may do. Now I may do it to this one, or I may actually go in, if I make another one, and do it to that one. So yeah, or if I do leave as is, if I make maybe some belt loops, carriers, and then insert the belt through those carriers, if then the body does not quite line up to the natural contours of my natural waist, then I would have to actually go in and just play around with that. But as is, I mean, it's probably a little bit pedantic, but it's just a tiny little amount. So yeah, but overall, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the dress, how it turned out. Really good, straightforward, cohesive instructions from Tilly as always, and yeah, no problems whatsoever. Came together really well, and I'm yeah, really pleased with the instructions and with the finished garment. Alright guys, so that is my review of the Tilly Barden's Lyra dress. And yeah, let me know, have you made the dress and or made a few dresses? Let me know how you got on if you did. Or have you not yet purchased the pattern and kind of been a little bit indecisive whether to kind of go for it or not? That's kind of how I was in the beginning, but now I have it, and I'm pretty pleased with how the dress has now come out. Okay guys, so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, so you guys don't miss a video and what comes next, please also hit that subscribe button. Okay guys, so have a really good week, and all being well, see you guys next week. And yeah, enjoy whatever it is that you are doing. If you are now starting to go out on vacation, or if you've got a little bit of a sewing marathon or crafting thing going on, hope you have a really good time. Okay everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, and take care everybody. Okay, thank you. Let's go up to